These 4 people are facing more than a dozen charges each, accused of operating a sprawling sex trafficking scheme in Hennepin County. And one of them, Andrea Thompson, the far right of your screen there, used to work as an attorney in the Anoka County Attorney's Office. Thanks for joining us at 5 on air and streaming. I'm Rena Sargentopoulos.
And I'm Kevin Holmes. Prosecutors call this a complicated multi-year scheme designed to exploit 13 victims and then hide the money. And
there's a twist to this case. Our Lou Ragoose leads us off tonight with all those details. Lou?
Rena and Kevin, besides using the victims for sex trafficking, according to a criminal complaint, these suspects also use them as fake autism services providers and home health care workers to steal taxpayer money.
The initial details were shocking enough. 3 women, including a former assistant Anoka County attorney, all allegedly dating the same man, Frank Reeves, all charged in a multi-year sex trafficking scheme in Minneapolis.
The level of sophistication and victimization for profit is disturbing.
But on top of the trafficking allegations, there are allegations of fraud. According to a criminal complaint, Reeves, the top trafficking defendant, owned this supposed home health care company, Riva Health, along with 30-year-old Salman Elmi, and billed $2.5 million to the state for taxpayer Medicaid reimbursements. And who provided those supposed services? In some cases, the sex trafficking victims, at least in the paperwork investigators found. The complaint says one was labeled a mental health worker, another a provider for kids at Riva Autism, which was owned by Reeves and Andrea Sampson, the former attorney. Those 2 also owned housing stabilization and assisted living centers run out of various locations, some of them the same locations the sex trafficking allegedly took place. All told, court papers say those companies billed Medicaid $4.54 million. And Sampson isn't the only one with an interesting background. Elmi is a celebrated entrepreneur who won an award from the Department of Human Services, which administers Medicaid, ironically, as an outstanding refugee. And according to Elmi's website, Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank invested $1 million in an app Elmi came up with. If the details in the court papers are any indication, more charges could be on the way.
This represents a culmination of a multi-year investigation into these defendants that is continuing to be active and ongoing to continue to uncover additional criminal activity potentially of the work that they've done.
Now in court today, we learned that more sex trafficking victims are now coming forward. The judge set bail at $300,000 for 2 of the women and $500,000 for Reeves. The other female defendant will be in court tomorrow. And Elmi, the only one charged so far with fraud, is held on $100,000 bail. Rena?
Well, it sounds like perhaps more fraud charges might be coming for these other suspects. But did they find out about this because of the sex trafficking and then they found out about the fraud, or was it the fraud that uncovered the sex trafficking?
Well, first, absolutely, there will be more sex trafficking charges because the complaint for Elmi almost talks about the other people more than they talk about him. His role very important according to the allegations as well. As for all this, how this came to light, the sex trafficking investigation was first. It started back in 2021. That was ongoing. Then early this year, the Medicaid fraud unit in the Attorney General's office started investigating Medicaid fraud after they were tipped off by an insurer. When they started looking into these locations, they found that they were owned by these people who were being investigated by the BCA for sex trafficking. So they kind of joined up and finished off this investigation together this year.
All right, Lou. Thank you. An important reminder, if you or someone you know is in trouble, there are resources available. The number for the Minnesota Day One crisis line is on your screen. It does include support for trafficking victims. This is a free service. It's available 24/7 and interpreters are available.